Hi everyone. So I don't know what the sound is going to be like because I'm recording this from as you can see, bathtub. I waited so long to be able to live in Berlin that it still feels like a dream. And, or at least it did until, last week maybe, when I started to feel like, wait, this dream is going to end if you don't get a job. So I've been frantically searching. And I remember the first time my classmate and friend Allah told me that uh, the job application process was going to be tedious. And someone else mentioned that, it just chips away at your self esteem bit by bit until you start to wonder whether you ever really went to school and are qualified for the job you're applying. That's been my lived reality. And then it also coincided with my phone contract ending. So in Germany, you get a phone contract for 2 or 3 years. And these were some of the admin issues that my ex used to handle. So on the 16th of October, I think, my phone contract, is terminated. How do I find out? Not via email notification a week in advance that, oh, your contract, the end of your contract is coming up. Please let us know if you'd like to renew so as to ensure a seamless transition. No, no, no. I found out because my phone just went off. I couldn't make calls. Like when I say it went off, the phone itself didn't go off. The SIM card wasn't functioning other than when I had access to Wi Fi. So no data, no phone calls, no texts. I must have been traveling at the time because I was looking for a place to stay, and I got this place thanks to a lot of help. Like this was literally someone handing me down a gift, and that was in early November. Because getting a house in Berlin, let's just say you can pay upwards of €1,000 for someone to just look for and find a proper house for you. And this is a shared house. I am so grateful because when I talk to my friends and peers about how much they're paying in rent, it's actually a little more than, not a little, a lot more than what I'm paying. Like 200 more, 250 more, 150 more than what I'm paying. And what I'm paying is already 500, which as a friend of mine, Wavua, told me is ridiculous that people in Nairobi are paying rent like people living in Berlin. Now, this came as a furnished house. It came with a closet, it came with some cupboard type thing with a TV on top. Um, it came with two chairs, it came with a bed and a mattress and the mattress cover. So, and the kitchen came with utensils. Not as many as I liked, which is why I've been buying a bunch of things, but you get, like, you could actually cook, eat, function. All you need to buy was like toiletries, come with your clothes. And since my things have been scattered abroad, literally like seed on a farm, I really, really struggled, to just settle in. And now, today is Sunday. It's like is it the first weekend of December? I think it should be. And, or it's the weekend after the first weekend, I'm not sure. When was the second? Second was my cousin's birthday. I think it was a weekday, I'm not sure. But anyways, so here I am. I walk into this place and I've constantly been looking at the bathtub because it's right next to the washroom, like the loo, and thinking, gosh, can't wait for when it's a special occasion for me. I'm trying to get an itch on my back. And can't wait for when it's a special occasion so that I can light up some candles or, bring in I don't know, you don't need the humidifier here, but just do something special and get in the tub. So, I coach people, I talk to them about health, and I don't just talk about health with regard to nutrition. We talk about sleeping patterns, we talk about eating patterns, food choices, we talk about sleep quality, because it's not just about getting your 8 hours in. Are you really getting 8 hours in, or are you in bed for 8 hours but really fast asleep for four of those? I talk to people about their gut health because that's usually very indicative, and particularly with women, because I mostly work with women, of how you're doing up here mentally. We talk about brain fog, we talk about mom brain, because I also work with a lot of new moms, or I have in the past. And I say a lot, I mean in the past. Right now, I need new clients. So people with type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and people just looking to either gain healthy weight or lose weight, and not just any weight, but body fat. People looking to just eat better and feel better and do better for their kids. Like, those are the people I look to work with. And for instance, some of the calls I've received from people, potential clients, on a discovery call. What is a discovery call? A 20 to 30 minute conversation where we just talk about where you're at, what's troubling you, what you want to accomplish health wise. So for some people, I just want to sleep better, or I want to get back to a sleep routine that's healthy. And I appreciate that I am a high functioning person who does well with accountability. And I hear people say this a lot, I'm not very disciplined, that's why I'm paying for accountability. And I'm like, it's not necessarily a discipline issue. Let me tell you this for free before you come onto my, DMs and then I charge you for consultation. It's not always a discipline issue. So for instance, when you have ADHD, it's, by definition, the name is terrible. Attention deficit hyperactive disorder. No, there are different types of ADHD. There's the ADHD that has you inattentive. There's the kind that has you not being able to sit still because you constantly doing. And then there's the kind, I don't know the other two kinds. I think those are the ones that I remember. But I know there's inattentive, but then there's also hyperfocus. Like, we don't talk enough about hyperfocus, and many people really glorify it. And which is why I have a problem with mainstream media making spectrum disorders look very sexy, very hot, like The Good Doctor or Monk, because I have OCD. I have an official diagnosis. And it sucks when people make it out to be this thing where, or you're just awkward and you like to wash your hands and don't like to shake people's hands because you're afraid of germs. It's debilitating. I shared on the same on my Instagram account, and someone told me she can relate. Someone all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, was like, I can relate to the having to just clean to a point where your knuckles bleed. And I used to do that when I cleaned for my mom's place. I have said over the years that I have perfectionist tendencies. I was always a person whose bed was straight, whose clothes were folded a certain way, whose mom would call her when she was in university to find out where a certain t-shirt was, or certain clothes were, or certain books were, because I remembered where I placed things when I placed them in the house, which is why to this day, if you move anything in my house, it sets me off. And I'll probably not explode on you completely, but I remember even my housemate, Miss Uganda, has told me, Shan, I don't think you know how to live with people. And I have finally accepted that maybe it's not my portion to live with people full time. Maybe I'm going to be the person who has a big house, a room to herself, and then I'm constantly hosting, but I'm also constantly sending people away to go back to their homes. Needless to say, those homes could just be across the road from me, or across the fence, or within the same compound, because I am setting up an only women's village and I'm very serious about it. So the point I was going to make today was actually related to making time for your wellness and being intentional about it. When I used to follow Sarah von Bergen of yesandYes.com, like, her tagline was basically, yes is better than no, it's more fun. And it taught me how to say yes to things, because I used to say no a lot. And so I'm an incredibly good coach because I have been coached indirectly, but that is also direct coaching, by bloggers and habit building coaches and writers from around the world. I have interacted with nutritionists from Australia, from the US, of course from Kenya, those in clinical and lifestyle circles, those working in and out of hospitals, those working with patients who have left the hospital, continued care practice, people who are into Western medicine, those who are into natural remedies, those who mix the two. And it's been such an interesting discovery. So why am I messaging you from my bathtub? This is your reminder to set time. And Sarah von Bergen used to say this all the time. please schedule fun activities, especially if you're the sort of person who needs to excuse rest. Oh, I was resting because I worked so hard. You're supposed to rest. And I've been getting these messages, thank God, for particularly Black women on social media, like the psychologists I follow. I keep mentioning Dr. Raquel Martin, but there's another one, and I forget her name. And she talks a lot. I think she's radical nutritionist. No, not nutritionist, radical psychologist. But she is a Black woman. And if I remember her, I will look for her and actually mention. She was talking about how winter is just the time for our bodies to slow down. Now, she speaks from an evolutionary perspective. I don't believe in evolution, but I do believe in certain tenets, certain parts of it that make sense. So, for instance, when she says it's as human beings, how we have evolved is so that we would rest during winter because there was no hunting and gathering per se. Like we needed to gather before, like the ants. Let's look at animals. Let's look at bears. Why are they hibernating? Why are they resting after a full year? And as human beings, we used to have rest periods. At least I can speak to my culture as a Kenyan, that and as someone who's worked closely with Muslim women, that even during, like pregnancy or during your period, a woman is supposed to slow down. She's expected to rest. She's not even expected to go to work in certain places. In cultures that actually support women's health and well-being, you stay home, you take care of your kid, or you stay home, you get your period week off, because that's a time to just slow down. And I have noticed, and I learned this from the nutritionist from Australia, I think she's Nourished Natural Health, Tanika Woods, and she and I exchange, I guess, one or two emails, but I love that she still talks about PCOS and the role of supplementation and all these other things alongside nutrition in managing symptoms, in eliminating certain problems that occur when you have hormonal imbalance. But ladies, do you know how much of our trouble is because we don't really rest? Now, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I get Saturday off. But because I have ADHD and OCD, there are times when that rest is not really rest. I'm still moving around a lot. But I have started to teach myself that it's okay to have a day when you sleep in and you wake up late, when you watch a TV series, when you spend time with loved ones on phone on Saturday afternoon, when you listen to a sermon over and over because it speaks to you, when you share with someone about the love of Jesus, or if you just want to share something. Like I have friends who are not, who are atheist, agnostic, and so if they call me on a Saturday and they're like, oh, wait, today's your rest day, but they have something they need to discuss, I'd be more than happy to listen to them because that's part of my social support system. That's part of giving back to the community that gives to me and doesn't stop giving to me on a Saturday. Which is why, even for us Adventists, by the way, FYI, for those who didn't know, there are certain jobs that you're allowed to continue doing on Saturday or after Sabbath, Friday sunset, Saturday sunset. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a caregiver of a young child, if you're a mother, or a caregiver of an old person, an elderly person, you're allowed to cook. You're allowed to, if they make a mess, clean up. You're supposed to slow down and be intentional about resting, but you don't stop doing good just because it's Saturday. Very many people have that twisted. So this is my reminder to you to get some rest. Go offline for a few hours. That gives me a lot of anxiety because I am addicted to my phone. I am working on it. I'm only letting you know because I want you to know that I'm actually human. I've soaked in the bathtub for almost half an hour and it feels good. I needed to do this so that I would finish the last 15 minutes. Otherwise, I would have rushed out to find something to do because welcome to ADHD. At least my version of it, my type. Rest, eat well. That's an act of self-love. Cooking for yourself. Last night was movie night. It used to be movie night in every previous relationship. But we didn't always manage to watch movies. There are times when I had a call with a girlfriend or something. So there are times when my brain starts wondering, so what are we doing on Saturday night? And last night I started a new tradition. I was supposed to go out dancing. I asked my housemate where I could get a good place to go out dancing. Then I thought, due to recent events, I don't feel safe going out alone without muscle, And so I figured, let me start making pancakes. If I'm done making pancakes, and I haven't made pancakes in a long time, I actually got my mixer specifically to be making pancakes. But since I haven't made pancakes in a long time, let me do that. And then we see where it goes. And I say blasting music. I was listening to Beyonce and everyone else, and I was just having a good time in my short shorts and my vest because the house is warm. And I didn't go out. And then I had so much energy. I was able to edit my CV to apply for a job at a beautiful vegan bakery that has branches in Hamburg and Berlin. I was like, it would be nice to work at a bakery because I love cooking and baking and all that stuff. And while it's an in-between thing, while I figure out what happens, but I love cooking, so why not align myself? And I asked for help. I asked someone, I told them, I need a job ASAP. Like at this point, I'm trying for helpling.com, and apparently I registered with the old number, and then they remember my email address, and I'm trying to change things. And whenever something becomes a nightmare, I pull away. Take care of yourself the way you need to be cared for. Ask for the things you need. Ask for help. You will be surprised. That help is just waiting. So, ladies, I know we've bought into the trope of the strong black woman, and self-care is just doing our nails. I was just being a child. So, we bought into the idea of self-care is just doing our nails. And no, let self-care be this radical acceptance of who you are, where you are, but wanting to change and become the best version of yourself for now and for the future. Stop waiting for special occasion to get into your bathtub. Don't be like me, do better. Don't wait a whole month. Soak in the bathtub on a random Sunday morning after you made pancakes, because that means you don't have to cook anything. You have granola, you've run out of soy milk, but that's fine. There's apple juice. And just enjoy the little things. Enjoy cuddling with your kids in bed and watching a series. Bring the TV to the bedroom. I know our African aunties told us don't bring a TV to the bedroom, it will mess up your relational intimacy. And I remember hearing in a bridal shower that the bedroom is only for sex and sleeping. Fine, if that applies to you. But also, break the rules. Bring the TV to the bedroom, hang out with your kids, show them that, hey, it's okay to just have fun and relax, especially if either of you usually get the Sunday scaries, those 8 to 5 peeps who feel anxious when it's Sunday because you're like, oh God, I have to be an adult tomorrow. I have to work. I have to wake up. I have to contend with traffic and that boss and that supervisor and that manager. Be very radical in how you care for yourself, because when your cup is full, you're a better lover, better mother, better friend, better worker, better all-round human to yourself, to the God you serve if you believe in God. You just better for the earth. You just, you're all good vibes and singing and skipping down the road. And yes, the devil will send someone to try you. But when your cup is full, you're able to bounce back better. So use your weekends to recharge. I know the temptation is hustle culture. There are bills to be paid. The economy is trash. But also, that investing in yourself for 10, 15, 20 minutes every day, instead of saying, I'm busy, I don't have time for this, that taking a day nap when you need it, that asking your boss for the afternoon off because it's been a rough morning, that letting your kids stay in because it's raining and they got rained on yesterday and they're still scared from the cold, and staying home with them and cuddling. Do it. Because my mother used to say, and she still says, I'm sure, maisha si rehearsal. Life is not a rehearsal. My mom kept me home. Look at me. Still brilliant. Still contributing to the world in a meaningful way. So also model for your kids. Your kids don't do what you say. They do what you do. And very often when they don't do what we are telling them, we smack them. I'm speaking to you Africans. Yes. So let's normalize gentle parenting. Let's normalize loving our people. Let's normalize loving ourselves first. Women, we're always giving and helping others. Who is helping you? Who is coming to rescue you? No one. Get into that bathtub that you paid so much money for. If you're paying the same rent in Westlands and Kilimani, the same 62,500 that I am paying in Berlin as a struggling student, please enjoy the shower and the bathtub. I'm not saying drain the ocean of water, please don't. Let's care for the environment. Climate change is real. But do those things intentionally. Get a diary. Journal. Start writing. Or write love letters to yourself. Or take yourself out on a solo date. Do you know how happy I was when my daughter told me she's having lunch with her girlfriends before she goes back home? And I was like, babe, do it. In fact, next time you're hanging out with your friends and have money, I want to finance that lunch. You guys can eat lunch indoors. You guys can go wherever. You will decide, because I'm also learning to let them decide and not do what I would have wanted to do or to be too frugal. But normalize being kind to yourself and generous with yourself. Because the rule is loving your neighbors as you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, that giving of love to others becomes tricky. So stay happy and healthy. That's from Dr. Mike. I cannot say what I want to say because that would not be appropriate.